You know, one of the best things about living history and reenactments, I guess, and just going camping in general with other people, is going around and seeing how other people's camping cribs are set up. Well, at Squirrel Camp, that's what I did. I asked each of the guys to take you through a tour of their camping crib as a little bit of inspiration to talk to you about their tents or other shelter, and hopefully, you know, you see something like, man, I could add that to my camp and make my experience just a little bit better. And of course, you want to make it unique, but let's go ahead and take a look at these guys' camps and give you some ideas.
I'm Tom, welcome to my camping crib. Umbrella tent, Lincoln camp cot to stay nice and up off the ground, a wood sleeping robe to stay warm, and then my pride and joy, the gold medal campaign chair, circa World War I. Functionality wise, it collapses down into this little bag here, so you can see about the size that it's collapses down to carry. It's a nice heavy canvas bag. Then it obviously folds out to a full-size chair with armrests and everything, so it's great for playing cards, eating dinner, or just sitting reading.
This is a tent that I've made. I based it, or the base of it is a Civil War era shelter half. I've added sides in the front. This is a concept. I'll like to do a better job of recreating this one. Just add some things that would make it more useful to me. But I can fit my cot inside of it and all my equipment. I can sit up comfortably on the cot, have plenty of headroom. Right now I've got two of my 1930s CCC trunks in there, one's holding food and one extra equipment. I've got my ammunition box here. As you can see, I got plenty of room. I could have more equipment or possibly another cot if I had someone else with me, a child or something. And I've got just all my other things I need, axes, my saw, a couple of coolers. Just all my equipment fits nicely in there.
All right, we're going to take a tour of another Squirrel Camp crib. As you see here, we have some true woodcraft going on right there, using the natural materials for a nice camp table. Let's see what kind of implements he's using. Nice. This will give you guys an idea of some things to look out for to outfit yourself when you go period camping. Maybe someday you'll get a chance to come out here to Squirrel Camp. Some of these guys are living the good life, but they pack pretty light overall. This would be a great example of a spike camp, just like Dalton's. Look at this, the camp cupboard. Joe did a good job of outfitting his camp with all the right canned goods. And look at that. He's laying on all those blankets. 4-point Hudson Bay blankets. Kept him warm. He's a better man than me.
And that has drawn a lot of reenactors in too. You know, maybe one of them has a car and 5 guys come along and they all dress up and ride around the car all day.
All right, well, one thing I found that's really helpful is find a period wheelbarrow. And if you have to park far away, you pack your boxes, your bedding, whatever you can throw on there and make trips with that. It's a lot easier than carrying, and you don't have to drive your vehicle in and ruin the scenery. So the wheelbarrow, you can find these boxes all over garage sales, flea markets for pennies. Those barrels was like $2 a piece. So just keep shopping, looking around. The cot, $5. Everything here is just super cheap if you look for it. 10 I got from James Bender's idea, the George tent video, and it's a really nice, you can stand up in it, you got room to put a cot lengthwise in it, and you still got all this room over here. So the tent was reasonably priced, I think, for the amount of use you can get out of it. It only takes one stick, one rope. So that's it's kind of messed up now, but those pillow ticking, all that stuff is plentiful at garage sales and stuff. So you can really get a lot with a little.
Some pretty cool cribs, huh? Well, don't go away, because I got a few more to show you. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on the Preston mess kit. All right, so I've got a couple quotes back, and we're still a go. They are lining up all the details to figure out the production time. Now, the one thing that I'm learning as I'm going through this process is the tariff aspect and getting it shipped here, and then basically hiring a company over there who can get it from the factory to the loading docks to come here. So this is brand new for me. So I'm trying to figure out all those details. Of course, that's going to calculate into the shipping date when you guys will get yours. But just letting you know that things are still moving along. I am pretty much lined up with a company, and if you go ahead, if you've purchased it, I'm sending out an email and I'm telling you what company it is that I'm most likely going with. I haven't signed anything with him yet, so it could possibly change, but so far there seems to be a pretty good relationship going back and forth and negotiations, things like that. And they seem like really good people that's willing to help out and mediate some of the details out there, which is a big help for me. Now, if you were here from the beginning, I was looking at a company in Columbus who was mediating a lot of that stuff, and it actually ended up being more expensive to go with them. However, that was like 4 years ago when I started looking at this process and see how likely the whole thing was. So on one end it's a little bit cheaper, but on the other end it's a little bit more expensive because of the tariffs and other things that's involved. So anyhow, I'll keep you up to date. And I'm telling you, if there is a big enough price gap where I can, if it's like way less than what I originally anticipated, then I'll probably give you guys the opportunity to either get a partial refund, or I can figure out if we can get the cases worked in and get you guys a case along with your Preston mess kit. But Honorable Outfitters is my channel. That's my company brand, and integrity and honesty is a big part of what I want my company to represent. So if you haven't got yourself on the list for your Preston mess kit, it costs $175, but that is shipped in the continental United States. It includes shipping. All you have to do is go in the description box below and fill out the link, and I'll email you with the link and all that other good stuff. And you'll be abreast of all the great details. And I suggest, if you like the video and if you like seeing the stuff about squirrel camp and you'd be interested in getting involved in squirrel camp or early 20th century living history or something like that, if you haven't yet, then please check out the Camp Crafters Guild. Just go to www.honorableoutfitters.com/join the guild. Can't wait to see you around our campfire. All right, talking about campfires, let's go check out the next guy's camp, shall we?
All right, so here we are. This is my camping spot, or crib as we're calling it for the video. And one of the things that I brought for this camp, I bought this antique seat, this folding chair, and I had it recanvassed by some Amish friends of mine. And what's really nice, it folds up super small, and it's very easy to carry. You can actually lash this onto the back of even a small pack, and it just allows you to have a nice sturdy place to sit. So that's always convenient. All right, this is my George tent, for those of you who've never seen one. So yeah, so this is the George tent. It's made by J. Hercules, and I did dye it with walnut stain, and got a video on how I did that, and then also coated it with Canvac, so it gives it that nice kind of a chocolate brown color, and also waterproof. And I did the same thing to my cotton cord here that holds up the center pole. All right, looking inside. So we've got 1920s, 1930s sleeping bag, and it's kind of open right now. It's airing up. but it has kept me warm down into the low 30s. And then underneath I had an air mattress, but it deflated. So what I'm using right now is just a 4-point wool blanket. This is my box where I keep my cleaning supplies and ammunition. And then one of my buddies bought me a nice vintage book here that we've got laying on top. Something written for teen boys. Then in the back we've got a frying pan. And this one is it's a cold handle. So this right here, this is like Kephart used, and he loved a tin cup, and then you got this little fragile cup here, but it forms a double wall and allows you to drink your coffee without scalding your lip on this tin, and it just makes a really nice, convenient way to do it. And then this is the steel frying pan. It's a little damp from sitting out on the ground, but that handle snaps in place, and this is the perfect and ideal size for taking and using out in the back country. These spread apart and fold under, and Kephart said that the guy that invented this was a genius, and I would have to agree. It's extremely convenient.
How scarce is that skillet, James?
These skillets are extremely hard to find. I found this one on eBay in a group of 4 skillets, and I paid quite a lot of money for shipping. You can see how it folds under. It has a little tensioner here. But yeah, these are, when you find these, you make sure and buy these because they're just rare as hen's teeth, as the saying goes. In the back, I've got my 1930s backpack. It's kind of covered up with some stuff. If you want to zoom in here, I'll see if I can pull that out for you. Got my squirrel hunting shirt here. Got my 1924 button on it. And then just some odds and ends of things. This pack, which I had repaired by my Amish friend. Pull it out here, we can see a little better. So this is a 1930s forestry pack, and it has new straps and a new tump line, and then all the things been restitched inside here with reinforcing fabric so that it will hold up well, and as well as on the front side. So everything is nice and solid, and it's a waxed canvas, so it is a waterproof canvas, and it's big enough to carry pretty much all the gear that I need. This pack weighed about 50 pounds, bringing everything in, and it carried it just fine. So that's pretty much it. I do have a couple of things here. Do have a little hatchet that I made. This is a clone of the Colclesser hatchet, and the little trick that Kephart said he carried. And it's just a handy little thing. Weighs 10.5 ounces, and it's 10.5 inches long. Once I put a little mask on the front, it should hit that 12-ounce weight that he said his was at when he went out. And then for carrying my foodstuffs and for boiling, I've got just a simple tinned pot, and got some coffee and some odds and ends of things in here. This is my soap and wash rag, dish rag, so everything's all contained and kept out of rodents and bugs and everything like that you might find when you're in camp.
Okay, so this weekend, this complete camp would be more like a canoed-in type camp, possibly a horsebacked-in type camp, because you've got a little more than you carry on your back or in one piece. Because I do have a backpack here, and I do have a complete bedroll here, which the straps are right here for the bedroll. So you've got basically a blow-up air mattress. You've got a gum blanket underneath that, and then you've got a wool blanket and a shard and a pillowcase that all roll up into that bedroll. I take this tarp and I fold it up, and it goes in this Duluth 1920 pack right here, which also has an old Dietz scout lantern, fuel for the lantern, first aid kit in case somebody gets hurt at hunting camp, a little bit of rope, just a camp cloth, small scouting hatchet, and this is a gum blanket poncho. This thing comes in real handy for lots of stuff. This is another one of those items I hate leaving without if I'm doing this type of reenacting because it's so versatile. It can be a tarp, it can be a poncho, it can be a ground cloth like I'm using this one here. Works for lots and lots of things. These big bucket style packs have always been my favorite. I've always talked about them on YouTube, places like that, because you don't have to look for anything. It's all right in front of you when you open up the pack. It's all right there, and that's the way I like it. So I always carry my stuff in that manner. Even with modern packs, bucket packs are my preference. Now, the other thing that you have to think about, if you're going to do a little bit longer term camp with a bunch of fellas, you might need a little bit more stuff. You're going to be cooking around fire and things like that. You could put a skillet in here easy enough. Carry a canteen on your belt, that's not a problem, but having a shovel to dig trenches around a shelter if it's going to rain, always a good bet. Dig fire pits, things like that. Dig a cat hole. Nice heavy duty axe like this one right here. Something about 2 pounds with a nice handle on it. It's right there from armpit to hand length for busting up firewood. And of course, you know, I got my skillet here. We just talked about that a minute ago. And got a meat fork and a spatula there. A couple of extra tent stakes here to go with my poncho here, or my tarp here, excuse me. And this box is basically all cookware. So, you know, you've got another larger skillet in here. You got a couple pots. You've got a coffee pot in there. It's got a few accoutrements inside the coffee pot. Got a cup in there, you got some extra shotgun shells, another camp rag. Pretty simple stuff. Some breakfast cereal stuff right there. A few utensils here. It's a pretty simple affair, but it works really well for me. Gets the job done and takes care of everything I need to take care of in camp. So it works well for me. And then that would be something, again, you'd probably put that on horseback, in a canoe, something like that. Similar to what you'd call a wanigan in a canoe. But you could also take that on horseback as well. And you got pretty much everything you need for 3 or 4 days in the woods along with your firearm to hunt.
All right, so this is my camp setup. Why don't you come on in and take a look around. So the first part is the tent here. This is called a George tent. It's, I got it out of a book by a gentleman named Mr. Kephart. And it's from the early 1900s. I got some canvas off of Amazon, and then I went ahead and I refigured it, kind of figured it out, trying to make it just a little bit smaller. The original George tent's probably about a foot higher than this, but it's good enough for me. I could stand up, getting older and whatnot. It's nice to be able to stand up in your tent. And then basically I just got a bunch of old stuff. Mr. Canterbury was nice enough to give me this. It's a jug for my water. I didn't really have something that was period correct. And then bought a couple little things here. But, you know, get yourself a good sleeping bag. It's amazing. You can get sleeping bags from the early 20th century or that are still being reproduced maybe in the 50s. That's still authentic, and they do keep you warm. We've been down probably in the low 30s a couple nights, and I got myself a wool blanket and get underneath the sleeping bag and put a stocking cap on, and it sleeps pretty warm. So don't be afraid to come out and, you know, spend some time out here with these guys and spend some time in nature. It's good for the soul.
Now, if you like this video, please click like. It helps people find it. It helps them, helps me. We really appreciate it. And don't forget to leave a comment, especially if you have seen something you really like in one of the camps, or if you have a suggestion for us about something that perhaps you'd like to see in our camps, or maybe you've got something that you want to share with others. You know, you could mention it in the comments box below. We really appreciate it. It's not just me that reads those. People all over the internet reads those comments. So you would be helping out so many people. And I love learning from you guys. I really do. So if you'd like to do that, please do. If you're interested in getting the Preston mess kit, in the description box below, there's the link. There's also my website, www.honorableoutfitters.com. There's an article about this because the history of it by itself is just fascinating. And if you haven't already, check out. If you'd like to see a video about the Preston mess kit, then go ahead and click this link. If you'd like to see a playlist of all my different camp crafting videos, then check it out over here. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Stay warm, stay safe, give your loved ones a hug and kiss, and I'll catch you guys later. Take care.